2023 was a very busy year for Tesla accessories in general, but most importantly, the instrument cluster displays for Tesla Model 3 and Model Y. We reviewed over 16 instrument cluster displays in this channel just this year alone. And one of the common themes that we get on our videos is, which is your favorite? Which one would you pick if you have to pick one? And that's exactly what we're going to try to do here in the video today. We're going to show you all of those instrument cluster display highlights. I'm not going to go into detail about all 16 of them here, but I'm going to pick the best from each of the categories because one size does not fit all in terms of the instrument cluster displays. We have reviewed something from very, very tiny instrument cluster to a giant instrument cluster that covers the entire dash. The description of this video has product links, discount codes, detailed step-by-step installation guides, and our thorough review that shows likes, dislikes, and limitations. Please refer to those videos if you want to learn more about some of these displays. So we're going to break this review down into 3 different categories of instrument cluster displays, and they have more or less to do with how they are mounted, where they are mounted, and what they do. First of all, you got those very tiny instrument cluster displays that are either mounted on the steering wheel panel or in the front dash, and all they do is show you the basic car information. They may have some advanced features, but nothing fancy like CarPlay or Android Auto. And we reviewed quite a lot of those since the beginning of the year. There was that circular cluster that showed all the critical car information in front of you. It had got some UI options. It showed you the range. It showed you the battery. It showed you the tire pressure. There were a few things that it showed directly in your view. So that was a really good option without taking much real estate. There are also those ultra mini displays. The first one was more of a larger ultra mini display, an upgrade from 2022, where it had different UI option, solved some of the issues that we're having. And that's a great option for many people where it just mounts in front of you and it shows you the critical car information. There was also this very small ultra mini display with touchscreen buttons that recently was released by Hansshow a couple months ago, where you can click on different buttons and be able to do different things like opening the glove box. And so they all fall into that same category of smaller displays. They don't take much real estate, but they also don't show you very many things. And there was one from TMA, and that is my favorite for this category because it is cheap and it does not take up as much real estate as the other one, but at the same time, it shows all the critical car information directly on your view. So this display just mounts in the air vent of your Tesla Model 3 or Model Y, but it does not take up much of the air vent space because it is very, very small. At the same time, the fonts are large enough that you can see it, and you have all the critical car information: speed, the shifting of gear, there's light, there's odometer, there's battery percentage, and even autopilot indicator. So from all of those beginner level instrument cluster displays, the small instrument cluster displays that are installed in the front, I would pick this one from TMA for all of those reasons, like the real estate, showing everything that I want to see on a small instrument cluster display. Now moving on to the intermediate size section of the instrument cluster displays and talking about all the functionalities, we have had several of those in the channel. We reviewed one from Pimp My EV where the graphics were really amazing, crisp quality graphic, but it didn't have much of the functionality. They were more towards that entry-level functionality, but we really like the graphics on that one. There's also one from Tesla C that we reviewed that was a circular instrument cluster with a black background and amazing graphics. We really love the UI, we really like the graphics, but again, it did not have any of the advanced features, but it did let you change certain things about the car, like the tire size, there was the headlight, it showed everything in front of you without those advanced features, and that was a really nice choice as well. So if you are someone who wants to see a crisp quality graphics and Tesla matching UI, that is probably our favorite in terms of UI. Out of all of them, if I have to pick one, there was one from TMA, and this was the one that is the T6 instrument cluster display that they released, and I worked a lot on this display with them, providing them feedback, and we started with no CarPlay, no Android Auto, but then we were able to upgrade it to Android Auto, CarPlay, front camera, the blind spot detection. I mean, it has it all. It shows everything that you need to see. At the same time, it does not take up as much real estate in the front, it does not block as much airflow. So this has been basically our all-time favorite display that mounts on the steering wheel panel because of all the functionality it has. The front camera is a must for many people without the ultrasonic sensors in the front in their car. So I think that's a great option. So out of all of those displays, if I had to pick one on this category, that would be the TMA's T6 instrument cluster display. I have a link down below with the discount code Shiva Tesla. Now let's talk about the final category, which is the large instrument cluster displays that go in the front. There are two different ones that we reviewed, kind of major theme, we reviewed two different ones on this category. The first one is from TMA, that is this giant instrument cluster that is fully integrated, that sits in the dash, and it has got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, but very limited in the feature. There's only one UI, there's not much going on other than you will see the critical car information directly on your view, and it looks very integrated that it belongs in the car. But if I have to pick one from all of the other ones that we reviewed in the channel, I would pick the F9 instrument cluster display from Hansshow. And here is why. It has got slick looking UI. It is a big display that sits in the front, but they now have a built-in air vent that's coming from the bottom, so you don't have that risk of losing on the airflow system. It has got all the features that the TMA's T6 display we just talked about has, including the blind spot monitoring, the front-facing camera, different UI option, OTA upgrade. It shows the PLAS switch. It has got so many features, packed everything into this one display. And having that airflow issue resolved, this makes this display very, very desirable for many people. So out of all of the big category for the instrument cluster display, my favorite is the F9 instrument cluster display from Hansshow. I have a link down below with the discount code Shiva Tesla. So as I said, one size does not fit all. There's a lot of different options in the market. Those were just my highlight. I have 16 different instrument clusters that I have reviewed, and I have a link down below with the playlist instrument cluster displays where you can click and see all of the review. And the one that I'm keeping on my Tesla right now is the F9 instrument cluster display from Hansshow for my Model Y, because it has got that airflow figured out. It has got everything that I wanted to see directly in front of me. And then I have the T6 instrument cluster display from TMA on my Model 3. Because Model 3 is a little bit of a smaller car, I did not want a large display like the F9 in there, but I wanted something very simple that is mounted on the steering wheel panel. So I have got the TMA's T6 on my Model 3. So those were my top two displays out of 16 displays that we have reviewed in the channel. So what do you all think about this instrument cluster displays? Would you get one for your Model 3 or Model Y? Do you already have one? What has your experience been using those displays? And what has your experience been dealing with these companies? Hansshow, TMA, Pimp My EV, Tesla Seat, Tailyard, EV Base. We have dealt with a lot of companies in the past, and it's always great to get a feedback of which companies that you have purchased the displays from and what has your experience been. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you found this video helpful, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and come back again soon for another Tesla accessory.